Media is essentially a term used for mass means of communication, and it can take many different forms, from traditional outlets such as television and film, radio, newspapers, magazines, to billboards and advertising, and can even include contemporary internet content such as social media like social networking, microblogging, or even various photo sharing or video sharing applications. Sex and sexuality have become prominent themes in contemporary mass media, and it's woven into our daily lives, providing perpetual and powerful tools for shaping our ideas and understanding about sexual behaviors, sexual identities, and sexual interactions. Social constructionist theory views language as a crucial component to understanding reality. The words we use define ourselves, others, and the world around us. Most people would agree language is gendered, but it can also be sexualized. Sexualized language can include words that describe and evoke the practice of sexual intercourse, words and labels that define sexual norms, and terms used to refer to individuals and groups of people outside the heteronormative sexual mainstream. Popular mainstream media in the United States uses sexualized language to reinforce and shape cultural assumptions and norms surrounding sexual behaviors. One place we see this is in women's and men's popular magazines. Research on great sex editorial advice in popular magazines reveals that the content is often presented in ways that promote sexual and gender stereotypes, narrow sexual scripts, and contradictory and even conflicting messages about sex. Often readers are advised on how to kiss and caress partners, which positions are the best, and how to perform various sex acts, all based on heteronormative sexual scripts. The question is, how much do popular magazines actually shape people's sexual behaviors and practices, or how they think about sex? This is difficult to know. Studies do suggest both adult and adolescent sexual beliefs, attitudes, and behaviors correlate with magazine consumption. Just as media promotes and supports the language used to describe sexual practices, it also plays a role in describing what constitutes as sexual abuse, sexual assault, and violence. Journalists play a powerful role in deciding what stories to pay attention to and the language used to relay the story. From a social constructionist perspective, imagery is also a powerful representation of society and culture. Like language, images not only represent our culture, but they provide meaning and shape society. Images of men and women's bodies in media are often sexualized. Popular mainstream media often uses sexualized images that reinforce narrowly defined ideas of sexiness and heteronormativity. And when images excessively represent narrow ideas of sex appeal above all other qualities, sociologists refer to them as hypersexualized. One place we see an abundance of sexual imagery is, ironically, in the music industry. Music videos, for example, display sexualized and hypersexualized images of both men and women, but women are disproportionately sexualized in this medium. Music videos, like film, show images but engage in a form of storytelling, which often revolves around sex, sexual relations, and sexualized behaviors. Another place where we see clear sexualized imagery is in advertising. When men and women's bodies are sexualized and hypersexualized in media images, they become sexual objects. Sexual objectification is the equation of an individual's worth based on body appearance and sexual function. Advertisements like music videos not only assert certain ideologies, but they're designed to sell a product. In the case of advertising, women often become the commodity being bought and sold. The advertising message is buy this shampoo and get the woman. Advertising also reinforces distorted and destructive ideals of femininity, including unrealistic expectations of beauty, perfection, and sexiness. And the impact of this sexual objectification and these standards of unattainable and flawless beauty informs and shapes women's perceptions of and relationships with their own bodies. Increasingly, prominent media representations of the male body have been shown to impact men's relationship with their bodies. Research shows that males are increasingly developing eating disorders due to body dissatisfaction, but the symptoms are often very different than what's seen with women and can include a focus on muscle enhancement through the use of steroids, supplements, or other muscle enhancing products. Media and images not only reveal, reinforce, and shape our understanding of sexuality and gender, but they also inform how we perceive racial, ethnic, and class inequalities. Sociologist Patricia Hill Collins argues that while blacks are incorporated into American culture today, including in the media, they are done so in a way that replicates older racial hierarchies. For instance, Black sexuality is still portrayed as wild and animalistic, which serves as a function of helping to perpetuate racial differences and the racial hierarchy. Asian females are often hypersexualized in the media, and Asian men are often desexualized. When talking about sexuality and the media, it's important to take a moment to reflect on LGBTQIA representation. Although we've seen an increase in the visibility of LGBTQIA individuals and experiences in recent years, LGBTQIA folks are still widely neglected or distorted in the mass media. When LGBTQIA folks are portrayed, they're generally placed into mainstream stereotypes, or they're sensationalized as the other. And this is especially true for trans individuals. In fact, recent research from GLAAD suggests that anti-transgender slurs, language, and suggestions were still present in approximately 61% of scripted dialogue in television and film.